Here is a John Deere decorative light set for patio, party, or holiday. Special edition. I used to have a string of John Deere lights many years ago. This goes back to the first house that we lived in, where some of the earliest archive videos were recorded back in the late 2000s. I had a string of lights very similar to this one, and the lights were strung around the pegboard of my workbench. I suspect that my grandfather probably bought the lights because he always liked the John Deere lawn equipment. He still has to this day I believe it's a 1980s model John Deere tractor. Still runs good as new. Uses it every week to cut the grass. And so I think that he probably bought the lights, or maybe they were bought for him. I don't know how I ended up with them, but I had them. And then at some point over the years, the string just vanished. I suspect that the mini lights, in typical mini light fashion, probably broke, and maybe the string was discarded, and the tractors themselves were kept, but of course they were not kept nicely, and so they just got all over the place. And I was cleaning up over on the other side of the downstairs here a couple days ago, and I came across a handful of those tractors in the drawer, and so this light string was on my mind, and then I was at the store and this surfaced. So this is not the exact string that I had. The string that I had, I wish I had kept one of those out to show it on video, but I had no idea that this was going to surface. I'll throw a picture in of the ones that I had. It was the Model D tractor, I guess. It was a 75-year anniversary edition, and it looked pretty similar to this, but the wheels were yellow, and they had a real deep tread to them. It was similar to what you would see on an actual farm tractor, but this version seems to be a lot more common. When I was searching for hold on, we'll go back a minute. I really liked those lights. I decided I want to try to get some, even though this wasn't, wow, this is really falling apart here. This light string reminded me of the original ones, and I remembered having them over the bench, and so I was going to put these over the bench. I probably still will, but I wanted to try to find one of the original sets as well that I had before. And so I went and I searched on the stupid eBay. I found quite a few of these. In fact, there was almost endless listings of this particular set available. There was only as 2 or 3 of the Model D ones that I had. There's one listing that was a reasonable price. It was $12 and change. It wasn't $12.99. It was some psychotic price. And there was an offer button, so I pushed make an offer, and I made an offer for $10, $2 below the asking price, and the offer was immediately declined. Okay, so if you don't want to take less than the asking price, why put the offer button there? I am just so sick of that site. I can't stand the antics of so many of the people that are on there. It's so rare that I actually have a semi-reasonable or good experience on that site anymore. So that's why I never shop on there, and I can't stand when it comes up in conversation, because it's getting to the point now where modern stuff is dropping in quality more and more, and so we have to start looking to vintage more often. And unfortunately, that site is probably the largest collection of vintage stuff, and it's not exclusively. There's plenty of decent people that sell in there, but it is so exclusively full of just money-hungry nonsense. I'm tired of it. Anyways, that's a complete diversion from what we're supposed to talk about here. So needless to say, I guess I will not be buying one of the sets like I used to have unless one shows up somewhere locally. Because I'm not dealing with that nonsense. UL approved 2 extra bulbs, 2 flasher bulbs, 2 extra fuses, replaceable fuse, 14-foot length, 3 sets together. I think it's what would that make it, 6-volt bulbs, I think. 3. If a bulb burns out, replace it promptly to prolong the life of the other bulbs. That's good advice. Yep, 6-volt bulbs. I don't know how old this is. I know the set that I have has got to go back to the early to mid 2000s at least. It says made by CTH Sales and Marketing Incorporated, which I'm not familiar with. Made in China. Well, let's open this up and see if it works. I'm allergic to eBay. Well, it looks like it doesn't come assembled. Well, here's the string of lights in the back. Since we're about to decorate for Christmas, I don't really want to put these up right now. I'll put these up after Christmas. I'd like to just test the lights and maybe put 1 or 2 on there just to see what it looks like. Of course, this is just coated in tape. I never understand why people think it's necessary to use so much tape. Like, seriously, it's not going anywhere. Okay, there's the lights. There's all our spare bulbs, the flasher bulb, the spare fuse. I have no idea what that's for. These are like metal sticks, which is ironic because it said don't attach it to a metal tree. This doesn't seem to say what these are for. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's plug in the lights. There's no lead wire. You know, I want to get the power bar so we don't have to unravel the whole string here. And I'll plug it into the kilowatt meter so we can see what the power information is. 119.2 the volts. It's a 14-watt string, 0.12 amps, the amps, and a power factor of 0.97, which is kind of weird. Usually an incandescent light should just be a power factor of 1. So I don't know why these are low power factor, but anyways, looks like a typical light string. It's got the longer fuse than the typical 2.5 volt mini lights do. It brings back a lot of memories of looking at novelty Christmas light strings. when I was younger. We had some M&M light strings. We also had some Hershey's light strings, the chocolate, just like chocolate drops. I forget what the heck they're called, but we had a string of those. I wonder if that's over here. I gotta look for that. I know the M&M ones are here. I gotta see. Those are at my grandparents' house. I'm pretty sure that they haven't used those lights in years. What else had these? Anyways, a bunch of lights had those, and it's an appearance that DEL can never replicate. Or I shouldn't say it probably can, but it likely never will because it would cost too much. So I guess these just stick on there like that. They really don't look that great actually. It's kind of dim and doesn't really light up the tractor itself that much. These aren't really meant to be used in the dark, I don't think. It's more just a little novelty thing. Whoa. Very slippery. Maybe there was an oil spill. Well, it's neat to have. They're not exactly what I had, but definitely reminds me of them. Probably after Christmas time I'll hang them I'll hang them up over the bench here like I used to have.